Hello again, everybody. Welcome to Takedown, your weekly source for what's trending in the world of wrestling. Well, described by school administrators as a move to better align with the Mountain West Conference, Boise State has announced it will no longer offer wrestling as a collegiate sport. Wrestling has been a mainstay of the Bronco Athletics Department since 1959, and while the team was in a rebuilding process, the decision was not based on wins or losses, but on revenue, as the university plans to reallocate funds toward the launch of a baseball program. While the student council voted unanimously to put the cancellation on hold, President Bob Custra responded by stating, "This is the final decision. We have to move forward." Well, we talked with head coach Mike Mendoza about the announcement and what's next for his wrestlers and staff at Boise State.
For me, it's been about getting with the guys on the team and trying to find out, to answer their questions. And try and help them take this in. I mean, I just can't, first thing I did is just kind of put myself in their shoes. And, I've seen this before, unfortunately I've seen an announcement come where they're going to discontinue the program, and saw how it affected some guys. And, yeah, it's one of those things that, you got to try and figure out that, get your arms around these guys and let them know that we're going to, take this 1 minute at a time. And really it's 1 minute at a time because, they got to figure out what's next for them.
Tony Hager joins the conversation now. Tony?
Coach, so you are kind of in the same boat as these recruits and wrestlers on your team. You came to this program not long ago, so you are kind of in the same boat as these athletes. I mean, how are you, making this decision to come to Boise State? What's your initial thought, I guess, on your future?
Yeah, I haven't, to be honest, I haven't really gone to that point. Again, it's more about taking care of these guys right now. They're the ones right now that need an immediate kind of attention and caring. To obviously these guys have a decision to make, to stay here and get an education, or to look to transfer somewhere else. There's a lot going on right now outside of this that's just happened, so there's a lot of people out there fighting for this program right now. I know that. So that's also, probably in the back of their minds, like, hey, do I stay here if there's a possibility of having this program here, or am I looking to transfer out? And so it's helping them through that process right now. And that's been pretty much, what I've been focusing on. And, as far as my future and my decision, what's next for me, I haven't really had a chance to even entertain that, unfortunately. And my poor wife, she's, we've had some short conversations, just, assuring that, there's, obviously different options for us. And Boise is a great place. And right now our kids are in school. And so we're keeping things just as normal as can be. And right now, and she's an awesome woman. And we believe that, we serve a sovereign God, and there's a plan for us, and a better plan than we have. And don't know what's in store. Could be here at Boise State in Boise, or somewhere else. But right now I'm not even going down that road. Right now it's about these guys and taking care of them, and, just taking it, really moment to moment.
With the outreach, I guess, is from alumni and fans you're seeing now. In our sport, sometimes we are a little bit retroactive as far as, when programs, we hear that they're getting canceled, people kind of come out of the woodwork and say, why, and this is what we're willing to support. What did you feel like you had that support at Boise, at the duels? Was there good fan and participation, attendance, and money from boosters, or is that just still something that you were working on?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's the attendance was good. It was exciting to have, dual meets here. It really was. I mean, there was lively crowd, a great venue for it. And, yeah, it was really supported. Great support from the wrestling community here. And no, it's funny, just last week had lunch with an alum here, and was just talking about long-term plans. There's a lot of strategies for getting long-term funding for programs, whether it be through life insurance policies, and just there's a lot of pieces we're putting together, and about an endowment campaign, and coming from a program that was on the chopping block and is self-funded, that has an endowment that was set up. That was something that I was looking to do here. Yeah, I mean, you've got to think that way. I think every coach in the country has to think that way.
Mike, we appreciate you taking the time. Our best to you, your staff, your families, and we'll surely be continuing to cover this story as it continues.
All right, appreciate that.
While Boise State administrators have shown very little interest in public opinion, we encourage every one of you to remain vocal in the fight to save that program. All right, up next, Tony Ramos, Jason Welch, Zach Sanders, and a lot more. You're watching Takedown, thanks to Casey's General Stores, famous for pizza.
Right now, get a free 2-liter with the purchase of any large pizza. Casey's, famous for pizza.
Yellow Blue wants to show you global energy demands are expanding at an alarming rate. Power grids in the U.S. are aging while coal plants continue to close at record rates. Utility rates are at an all-time high and there's no end in sight. If this concerns you, call Yellow Blue, delivering products and services that are not only green, but cost-effective. You can be independent, safe, and secure. We'll show you how at yellowbluetech.com.
Over the past 4 years, former Hawkeye wrestlers have dominated the domestic lightweight field. Tony Ramos represented the U.S. in 2014 and 15 before losing to former teammate Dan Dennis at the Olympic trials. Dennis is currently taking time off from the sport, which puts Ramos right back in the driver's seat at 57. From Takedown Radio, here's Tony Ramos on the U.S. Open field and how his training and style have changed since his departure from Iowa City.
There's a lot of things that have changed, One of the biggest things that people probably know about Iowa is you go in there and it's a lot of just hard wrestling, hard training, building that toughness. I'm doing a lot more skill work and getting better in the areas that I'm already good and focusing on, and then working in some of the areas where I struggle, trying different things to see if they work. And I feel like the beginning of this year, right after I left Iowa, a lot of it was a learning curve, where I was trying to mess around with things and find what worked for me and what didn't. And I wasn't probably having the results I'd like to have internationally. But, this past month or two, everything's starting to click and it's starting to make a lot of sense to me. So I'm really looking forward to get out there and compete at the U.S. Open and, show what I've been working on. A lot of people are picking these young guys or Nico or this and that. If you go and look at the field, I don't think Nico has a winning record against it. They see he has good international success, but he hasn't been very successful domestically. I think he went 0-2 in the trials. He's never beaten Tomasello. He's never beaten Garrett. There's a lot of tough guys in this, but, I'm beating them all, and I'm excited to go out there and kind of restake my claim to that weight class.
One of the most successful and popular wrestlers in program history, Jason Welch has announced that he'll return to Northwestern as an assistant coach. The three-time All-American joins Andrew Howe and Cody Brewer on the staff and will work with the Wildcats middleweights. Here's Jason Welch on the move back to his alma mater and bringing the program back to national prominence.
It's been a struggle for me post-college, trying to be that selfish athlete, where it's about me. And I'm really feeling that it's time to step into the coaching role. And I've been feeling that urge for a while now and have it not be about me and to be unselfish continuously. Because, I think that's sort of my second calling, Like, it was fun and amazing experience being that selfish athlete, but I can't wait to be coaching full time, to be done competing and just giving everything I have to them. One of the reasons that I came to Northwestern as an undergrad was because it fit the bigger picture and it gave me the best of all worlds. It wasn't just wrestling, just academics, just location, but it fit all three categories. And I think as an employee, they do a really good job of still offering those things. Like, for instance, as an employee, I get to go to school for free next year. So I'm going to take a couple classes still. And just continue to live in Chicago, to be in a beautiful area, and also to help the program realize their full potential. The kind of student athletes that we draw and that we can draw. There's no reason why we can't have a ton of success at Northwestern.
Like Jason Welch, former Minnesota standout Zach Sanders is back at his alma mater as well, this time with a focus on coaching. The four-time All-American stepped into a new role last fall when he became a volunteer assistant for the Gophers, a program that surpassed all expectations and finished 7th at the NCAAs. While Sanders continues to pursue his own goals, his coaching success has Gopher fans excited for the future.
As a coach, I couldn't be more proud of the guys, the way they fought. They didn't back down from anyone, and they just, fought really hard. As far as expectations go, probably people didn't expect us to do too well. But, when you're looking at where the program is, you can't think about it too much. You just got to continually try to get better. It doesn't really matter where you're at. As long as you get better, you did your job. So, it's like people say, put one foot in front of the other. You could be at rock bottom, but all you gotta do is get up that day and go to work and just try to find ways to get better. And that's what the best people are good at. We're just looking to keep building on what we did last year, or I should say this past season, and just continue to get better. And that's the goal, and then attract better and better guys into our program, and have a high standard of excellence.
Quick timeout. We'll be back right after this. You're watching Takedown thanks to our friends at Defense Solar.
Wow, 40 years. Time really flies. Don't seem like it's been that long. It seemed like only yesterday that I started out route delivering it to the stores. For over 40 years, we're really proud to keep the same quality ingredients and not change our recipe. Help us celebrate our 40th anniversary by joining into our cookies recipe contest with a chance to win a Traeger Bronson 20 smoker. You can enter it on our Facebook page or cookiesbbq.com. Thanks for 40 years, and we'll see you in another 40 years.
Cookies is the one.
What's up, guys? I want to tell you about a new product that I am extremely excited about. It is the Pure and Clean Sports Skin Defense. It comes in a 16-ounce spray bottle, and it comes in a little bitty travel-size spray bottles. I have one of these, throw it in my bag, go straight to the gym. A lot of these gyms I train at, whether it be boxing, wrestling, kickboxing, grappling, strength and conditioning, it all has bacteria floating around. They all have viruses floating around. They all have fungus floating around. And the last thing you want is to get a fungus, a virus, get sick, any kind of wounds that are going to turn into any kind of skin infections, to take you off of the mat. Every single second that you spend off the mat or out of the gym is 1 second that you're wasting. So Pure and Clean Sports came up with an amazing solution to give you the right amount of protection on your skin. You spray it right on your skin. Stay pure, stay clean. Checking them out. pureandcleansports.com.
With the U.S. Open and World Team Trials about ready to get underway, Gary Abbott sat down with National Women's Coach Terry Steiner to break down the brackets and talk about his team.
What kind of things do you look at the trials? And are you expecting maybe we might have some new team members this year for the Senior Worlds?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and usually, coming after an Olympic cycle, usually there's some people moving on or not quite sure what they're doing. We usually have some injuries that are being taken care of during this year. So it really leaves room for new athletes to jump onto the scene, and our up-and-coming athletes, not that we haven't seen them before, but we maybe haven't seen them at the senior level so much. So I think we will see some younger athletes coming onto the scene and making our world team this year, and which is what you want. You want to get early in the quad, you want as many athletes as possible to get that international experience as we move forward.
And are you looking for anything specific technically or depth-wise as far as the wrestling?
No, not really. I mean, I'm going to be looking where we're, I pretty much know, but where we need help and where we need to continue to work and improve in our technical areas. But it'll be good to see, how we've come through this year and what is coming along and what still needs a lot, more work and more attention. So the trials is always, it's a tough tournament to be at for a national coach because you just sit back and you're not coaching. You're trying to really avoid the athletes because you don't want to be talking to one of them and the other one thinks you're giving them pointers to win or this or that. So really I tell the athletes if it looks like I'm avoiding you, I probably am going into this competition. But really it gives you a chance to really take a look at things from a bird's eye view and look at the whole picture and look at, not only how we're doing on the competition mat. What's our process like? What are we doing in our warm-ups? What are we doing, in between matches and after competition and things like that? How are we handling ourselves? How are we carrying ourselves as a national team member and part of USA Wrestling? So really, that's how I do look at it, and just from a bird's eye point of view, and just step back a notch. And so it's an important tournament, I think, for me, just to be at and observe.
While American athletes are training for domestic competitions, several other nations are getting ready for the World Championships. From UWW, here's an inside look at how Japanese Olympic silver medalist Ri Higuchi and his team are preparing for the biggest international tournament of the year.
今日は朝、早朝と午前中、午後の3回練習で、今週結構そういう感じでやってるんですけど、なんというか、オリンピック前とは比べたら全然比べ物にならないんですけど、でもいい感じに追い込んでできてますし、新入生入ってきて、フレッシュな感じの、本当にいい雰囲気で練習しているので、まだまだ強くなれると思います。考えながらレスリングをやっているので、なんというか自分の感覚的なもんでやってたところを、なんというか理論付けてできるようになったし、そういう面ではスキルが上がっているというふうに思ってます。きついですね。ベリベリタイヤード。そうですね、やっぱり体力的には3回練習で追い込んでる期間なので、きついんですけど、その中でもそのスパーリング自体はすごい集中してできてたので良かったです。そうですね、結構気ままにレスリングしているのでいつも、そうですね、自由に心がけて練習しました。自分の実力はしっかりパフォーマンスという面では出したと思うんですけど、すごい終わってからは悔しい部分もあったり、なんていうんですかね、満足したわけではないんですけど、自分のその時のベストパフォーマンスを出したと思うので、もうあれをその次のステップに生かしていければいいなと思います。 イスマイル・ボルモニナ、本当に印象は腕取りが強いっていうイメージ、自分が攻めきれなかったのはちょっと敗因かなっていうのがあるので、銀メダルいらねえと思いました。
いやなんか銀か金じゃないんだな、あんだけ頑張ったのになと思って、もう一回頑張ろうって感じ。
He's the new head man at Davidson. Andy Lozier joins us right after this. You're watching Takedown, thanks to Coca-Cola.
The war raged for generations. No amount of bravery and conviction could end the infected, unyielding rage. And with every battle, the evil grew, changed, evolved. The warriors needed nothing short of a miracle to stop the infection, and a miracle they received. Your body is at war against skin infections and diseases each time you step onto the mat. Protect yourself against the invasion. Defense Soap. Defend what you have built.
Very special guest today in the Nike hot seat is the brand new head coach of Davidson. He is Andy Lozier. Andy, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Congratulations. It was the Davidson College Director of Athletics, Jim Murphy. He announced your hire on Thursday, April 21st, and a pretty special day for Davidson. Congratulations to you in that. How did the whole hire come about?
Well, it's a little bit of an interesting story. I first went to Davidson College in 2014 to wrestle against them. And we had an early afternoon duel on a Saturday. And so I had gotten my team ready. Everyone was on weight. And as is in wrestling, we had a lot of time to kill. So I threw on a pair of running shoes and went for a run around campus. And it was February and almost 70 degrees. And so I decided to break off campus and head into town. And I was just totally blown away by the feel of the community. And so after that time, I kind of always had my eye on Davidson. And then we were actually back down there this year for a dual meet in December. And that only reaffirmed my initial belief. And then it was like a week later that I heard that Bob would not be returning at the end of the season.
This is a conference that's continuing to grow, wrestling within the conference continuing to get better. What are your plans for Davidson?
Yeah, we're going to take a lot of what we've done here. And each time I go through kind of this rebuilding process, I learn so much. So I think I get better and better at it each time. The great thing about Davidson right now is that it needs some attention to get back on track, but the program isn't broken like Sacred Heart was back in 2012. So it's got a good, strong roster of guys in place. It has a small recruiting class coming in. It has a great group of alumni. A lot of people don't know that it's a very old program. It's coming in on its 100th year celebration pretty soon. So it has a really deep pool of alumni to network with. So with that being said, you kind of tie all those components together, and there are a lot of excellent opportunities to quickly reshape the culture down there and get back into a competitive level with the other teams within the conference.
What are your plans as far as assistant coaches?
That's to be determined. Currently, the assistant wrestling coach down there is Colin Johnston, and he's done a great job in this transition. He's been very, very loyal. I could tell that when I met with the student athletes, they really liked him a lot. Colin and I don't know each other very well. We've been communicating a lot over the course of the past week, obviously. I'm going to be down at Davidson again this weekend, and we're going to carve out some time to spend together. So after we talk for a while and get to know each other and I learn a little bit more about him, that's going to help determine the direction in which we decide to go in with our assistant wrestling coach.
We appreciate you taking the time, Andy. Congratulations again, and we'll be talking to you soon about the team that you'll be putting together and the efforts toward championships and titles and success in the classroom and on the mat.
Thanks, Scott. It's always a pleasure. Much appreciated.
Don't forget, look for us, all the breaking wrestling news, full interviews, articles, and a lot more, all for free at takedownwrestle.com. And so from our studios in Des Moines, Iowa, I'm Scott Casper. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next week.